Sonic the Hedgehog, the game that saved Sega and spawned one of the biggest gaming franchises of not just the 90s, but of the modern era as well. From a historical perspective, this is one of the most important video games of all time. But how does it hold up today? It's fine. Hello, and welcome to part 1 of my 4-part review of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is the start of a series dedicated to reviewing every Sonic the Hedgehog game ever made. I'm going to explain some stuff related to this video series before we get to the actual review. So if you're just here to learn about the story of Sonic the Hedgehog, skip to timestamp on screen. Still here? Cool. So I actually lied to you. I will not be reviewing every Sonic game. I plan to review most of them, but not all of them. Games to be excluded will include edutainment games, game compilations, arcade games, crossover games, games where a member of the Sonic cast only has a cameo, and mobile games. It sounds like a lot I'm excluding, and to be fair, kind of is, but that still leaves us with 65 games to cover. That's 260 videos I have to make. Why couldn't I pick a hobby like fishing or something? In order to help break up the franchise into more manageable chunks, I've divided the series into 4 major eras. The classic era, lasting from 1991 to 1998, is where the franchise was created and grew from a simple platformer to a multimedia empire. But as the 90s wore on, the gaming landscape shifted, and Sonic fell from his pedestal of stardom. This era is characterized by 2D games, most of them being platformers, with some dabbling in the Z-axis. The Adventure era, lasting from 1999 to 2006, saw the series fully commit to 3D games and the subsequent fall of the franchise to its lowest point. Correlation does not equal causation. The Adventure era began the tactic of having a major 3D platformer release every few years, with smaller 2D titles coming out in between to keep interest in the series high. The Boost era, lasting from 2007 to 2017, saw Sonic bounce back with a new formula for how a high-speed platformer could work. Sega's output slowed down during this period, giving us the first gap year, under my standards, in 2015. The Boost era was probably the worst time to be a Sonic fan, as Sonic became the Nickelback of the gaming world, easy to hate on and popular to do so. The Remaster era, lasting from 2018 to right now, is hard to characterize. There's only one original 3D platformer in this era as of writing, and I don't feel comfortable naming the whole era after one game. That's why it's not called the Renaissance era, since while Sega has been doing good, it's still possible that Sonic Frontiers is a fluke. However, Sega has been very keen on remastering older titles and re-releasing them as of late, so the remaster era will suffice for now. Since we're still in it, it's hard to gauge general trends in the franchise. I suppose Sega is a bit more experimental now. Okay, necessary exposition aside, time to talk about the game now. Would I recommend playing Sonic the Hedgehog to a non-Sonic fan? No. If you want to play a classic Sonic game, play Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Those games are undoubtedly better than Sonic 1. If you're not a fan of the franchise, there's no real reason to play this game unless you really want to run through Green Hill Zone. Would I recommend playing Sonic the Hedgehog to a Sonic fan? Yes. Yes! If you're a Sonic fan and you haven't played Sonic 1, what are you doing watching this? Go play it. Go. Shoo! Sonic the Hedgehog has a very simple story, even by the standards of its time. Sonic fast and good, Eggman smart and bad. Sonic stops Eggman. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Okay, yeah, there's a bit more to it than that. Not that you'd find much more in-game. Sonic 1 has no text boxes or subtextual story. If you didn't have the original manual, you wouldn't know any of the context surrounding the events of the game. However, I do have the original manual, or at least a PDF of it. So what is there in terms of story? Dr. Ivo Robotnik, also known as Dr. Eggman, is a mad scientist who is kidnapping small animals and using them to power his robots, which are called Badniks. The Badniks are searching for the 6 Chaos Emeralds, which are gemstones of great power. They roam South Island, which doesn't seem very efficient because the Chaos Emeralds are found in special stages. But I'm not a 300 IQ genius, so what do I know? Sonic is a hedgehog who can run real fast, curl up into a ball, and destroy Badniks. Interestingly enough, the manual states that Sonic's power sneakers is what gives him his speed. I think this was retconned at some point, although when I couldn't tell you. Sonic sets out to stop Robotnik and his evil scheme. Robotnik is not a fan of Sonic for some reason, so every now and then he'll show up to try to kill Sonic himself. He does not succeed. Eventually, Sonic makes his way to Robotnik's secret lab. Well, the manual calls it a secret lab. It looks more like a city of robot factories where Robotnik's headquarters is located in a secret lab, but whatever. After evading every trap that Robotnik has set for him, Sonic destroys his base and runs through liberated South Island. The end. Oh, and he collected all the Chaos Emeralds from the special stages, but that's not really important. Like I said, Sonic 1 has a very simple story. There isn't much to talk about. There aren't really character motivations to deconstruct, or plot beats to mull over, because the plot has two beats: beginning and end. The story isn't the focus here. The focus was put on the gameplay, because Sonic Team knew that would be the defining aspect of the game. Replayability is key, not a complex story. Well, that was shorter than I expected. But can you re-blame me? Well, yes you can, but that's not important. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next week when Part 2 gameplay drops. Sayonara. Like and subscribe, Badniks.